There are 5 signs a woman is drawn to you that she has zero conscious control over. Her body reveals them before she's made any real decision about you. And most men sit directly across from her and completely miss all 5. It isn't because these signals are hidden either. Once you know exactly what to watch for, they become almost impossible to overlook. By the end of this video, you'll be able to read a woman within seconds, from clear across a room, before she's spoken a single word. But here's what separates this from every other signs she likes you video you've already watched. Spotting the signs is the simple part, and it isn't the part that actually determines the outcome. See, attraction doesn't get you chosen. Attraction gets you evaluated. And I'm about to walk you through the 3 ways a woman who genuinely likes you will quietly argue herself back out of it. Here's the part that stings a bit. It usually happens because of something happening on your end of the interaction, not hers. Here's what's coming over the next few minutes. First, the 5 signs, so you finally stop guessing what's going on in her head. Then, the uncomfortable reality of what those signs actually trigger. Then, the 3 ways it all collapses before it even gets started. And most importantly, the one piece of this entire equation that's completely within your control. Because the signs only tell you the door is open. Whether you step through it is entirely on you. Stick with me, because that second half is the part nobody ever teaches, and it's the half that changes everything. One thing to hold on to before we begin, because it's what makes all 5 signs click into place. Nearly everything a woman feels toward you surfaces in her body long before it reaches her conscious mind. The oldest, fastest regions of the brain react first, and they move her eyes, her voice, her posture, her hands well before she's even decided what any of it means. That's exactly why these signals deserve your trust. She isn't choosing to send them. Honestly, half the time she'd shut them off if she had the power to, which is precisely what makes them honest. Sign 1 is prolonged eye contact. Start with the eyes, because the eyes give a woman away first, and most dependably. When a woman is drawn to you, she holds your gaze a fraction longer than the conversation actually calls for. It isn't a stare, that's an entirely different thing, and it reads as intensity rather than interest. This is far more subtle. It's the half-second of extra contact right before she looks away. And then comes the tell that matters most. She comes back. She glances off, and a moment later her eyes return to you, almost checking whether you're still looking. That return is the whole story. Here's why it happens. Eye contact triggers a small release of oxytocin, the bonding chemical, and when someone's attracted to you, her brain quietly rewards her every time your eyes meet. So she keeps chasing that eye contact without ever consciously deciding to. It becomes a soft running loop underneath the actual conversation. Look, break, return. And here's the part men miss entirely. While you're busy reading her, she's reading you right back. She's rarely consciously thinking, oh, his skin. What actually registers is healthier, more energized, more put together, a man with standards who takes care of himself. And the reverse registers just as strongly, even if she never says a word about it. Most men were never taught what to actually do with that information. You don't need 10 products or hours of research. You need something simple enough that you'll actually stick with it. That's why I'm genuinely excited to tell you about T. Hanley. One of the very first things I go over with the men I coach, before confidence, before conversation skills, is what their routines and habits look like, because sharp psychology can't outperform a neglected baseline. And if nobody ever handed you a routine or nudged you in the right direction, that's not on you. But it is something that's genuinely easy to fix. T builds the routine for you, with numbered steps for morning and night, and products engineered to work together specifically for men's skin. You can start with the essentials or step up to level 3 for more targeted care. This was never about vanity, it's about consistency. A routine you'll actually stick with helps you look more awake, more maintained, more confident. T. Hanley has sold over 3 million boxes and carries thousands of 5-star reviews. You can't control whether she feels chemistry, but you absolutely can control the signals you're sending out. Click my T. Hanley link to get 40% off your first box plus a $20 free gift. That will most definitely help you with eye contact and what to actually do with it. The answer isn't dramatic. You hold it warmly, a beat longer than feels automatic, then let it break naturally, the same way she does. You're not trying to win a staring contest. You're matching a rhythm she's already set, and that tells her, without a single word, that the loop runs both directions. The second sign worth your attention lives in the body. And it's one of the most honest signals out there, because it's governed by a part of the brain she has almost zero conscious access to. Watch what she does with space. She leans in when the room isn't loud enough to require it. She drifts toward your side of the group when she could easily be anywhere else. She angles her body toward you, not just her head, but her torso, her hips, and her feet. We point our feet toward whatever we want to move closer to, and we do it entirely on autopilot. A woman can manage her face beautifully, saying all the polite, appropriate things, and her feet will still be quietly pointed straight at the person she's actually interested in. This signal is so dependable because proximity seeking is primal. We physically move toward what we want to be near. It's wired beneath thought, beneath decision, beneath the social performance we're all running. What you do here is simple. You don't retreat, and you don't lunge. If she's closed the distance, hold your ground warmly instead of backing off, which would read as rejection, or crowding the rest of the gap, which reads as pressure. You simply let the closeness she created remain as it is. This third sign is worth watching closely, small, quick, and easy to overlook. Once you've seen it, though, you'll notice it constantly. When a woman is attracted to you, her hands start giving her away. She touch her hair, smooth it down, tuck it behind an ear. She touch her neck, or play with a necklace or earring. She might adjust her clothing, straighten something that didn't need straightening. It looks like fidgeting, and in a sense it is, but it's a very specific kind, and it's aimed directly at you. This is preening, a self-presentation response that runs well below conscious thought. Attraction and nervousness share a chemical, norepinephrine, which generates a burst of restless energy, and the body channels that into unconsciously tiding and drawing attention to itself in front of someone it wants to impress. The detail that separates this from ordinary nerves is direction. Anxious, uncomfortable fidgeting comes paired with a body leaning away, scanning for an exit. Attracted preening comes paired with a body that stays, leaning in, finding reasons not to leave. You don't need to actively do anything with this one. It's a confirming signal, not an invitation to act. The fourth sign hides inside ordinary conversation, and you'll miss it completely unless you're actually listening for it. She starts almost carelessly slotting you into future scenarios. You'd love this place. We should do that sometime. Oh, you have to try it. None of these are actual plans. She isn't asking you out, and she may not even notice she's doing it, but each one is a small, involuntary tell that her brain has already begun rehearsing a version of the future with you somewhere inside it. This happens because attraction changes how the mind projects forward. When someone matters to us, we automatically start rehearsing scenarios that include them. It's the brain quietly trying the idea on for size. Here's what you do with it, and it's the most actionable of all 5 signs. When she drops one of these, you pick it up. She says, "You'd love this place." You say, "Then let's go. When are you free?" She's just handed you a low-risk opening she can still retreat from if she needs to. So meet it with something equally light but concrete. This is very often the exact moment attraction either turns into an actual plan or quietly evaporates. And the difference comes down to whether you noticed the hint and had the nerve to catch it. The 5th sign is one you hear rather than see, and most men never consciously register it, even while it's actively working on them. When a woman turns to speak to you specifically, her voice shifts, it warms, it softens. It often drops a little in pitch. The same woman can be brisk and bright with the whole group, and then the moment she turns to you, her tone shifts into something more intimate, more relaxed, just a touch lower. It's subtle and remarkably consistent. The key isn't the pitch itself, it's the contrast. Research into how we speak around people we're drawn to shows the voice unconsciously softening and warming, a kind of vocal leaning in. Her nervous system is downshifting into closeness and ease, and it colors her voice without any conscious decision on her part. What you do is match it. If her voice has dropped and softened, let yours do the same, instead of staying locked at the bright, performing pitch you use with the whole group. 2 people lowering their voices toward each other is exactly how a conversation separates itself from everything else happening in the room. And matching her tone tells her beneath the actual words that you felt the shift too. So now you can read her. You've got 5 reliable signs, and that alone puts you ahead of nearly every man she ever meet. But here's the uncomfortable part, and it's what this entire video is actually built around. You can read all 5 of those flawlessly, and still watch the whole thing go absolutely nowhere. Attraction doesn't get you chosen. Attraction gets you evaluated. Those 5 signs simply mean her brain has flagged you as interesting. And the instant that happens, it launches a second assessment to decide whether interesting is actually worth acting on. That second read is exactly where a great many genuinely attracted women quietly talk themselves right back out of it. And you need to be able to spot it happening, because from the outside it looks almost like the attraction is switching off. It isn't. It's attraction colliding head-on with hesitation. Here are the 3 ways you'll watch it unfold. First, she blows hot and cold. One moment she's warm, open, fully present with you. The next, she's cooler, clipped, pulling back for no reason you can pin down. Your instinct will be to treat the cold moments as the truth and the warm ones as some kind of mistake she's correcting. Usually it's the reverse, though. The warmth is real, and the coldness is her trying to suppress it because the interest showed up faster or stronger than she's ready to trust yet. She isn't playing games. She's regulating something she hasn't consciously decided to let herself feel. The mistake most men make here is matching her cold with cold of their own, pulling back hard, punishing the withdrawal, treating it like rejection. That only confirms every fear that made her hesitate in the first place. What actually steadies her is consistency. You stay warm, easy, unbothered by the swing, and that tells her nervous system there's nothing dangerous here worth bracing against. Second, she keeps herself near you without ever quite interacting. She's at the edge of your group, orbiting, clearly present in your vicinity, yet she won't quite steer the conversation toward you. And if you catch her there, she might look faintly caught out. This is one of the most misread behaviors there is, because it looks like disinterest when it's very nearly the opposite. She's caught between 2 competing poles, the desire to be near you, and the fear of showing exactly how much she wants that. The read here matters enormously, because if you treat her hovering as disinterest and give up, you'll walk away from someone who is deliberately standing near you. What she actually needs is for you to make the first low-stakes move that she's too self-protective to make herself. A light, easy opener that lets her step in without having to expose that she'd been waiting for the chance. So here's the reframe that changes how you watch all of this. The signs tell you when the door is open, but they do not get you through it. What gets you through is the second half of the interaction, whether you read the moment and actually respond to it, and that half isn't up to her at all. It's entirely up to you. Think back through everything we've covered, the eye contact, the closing of distance, the preening, the future she sketches out loud, the shift in her voice. You don't control a single one of those. They happen to her, and your only job is to read them honestly. But the hesitation on the other side, the hot and cold, the hovering, the moment she catches herself, how all of that resolves depends almost entirely on what you bring. Your steadiness, your read of the moment, the nerve to catch the hint, and the way you show up as a man who takes care of himself. Turn that same attention onto the one person in the interaction you can